If you recall, I made this video, oh yep, that's the one, where I built this jungle base which included a giant tiger head that was the entrance to the base. So that's what this is going to be a tutorial for. And it is a little bit bigger, but I'm going to do my best to show you how to build it. So first things first, here are all the materials you're going to need. I'm using blackstone because I like the way it looks, but you can use anything you want in place of that, and you can also use any color you want here in place of this lapis, which is for the eyes. So those are the two different blocks that you could switch out with other things. And it would be a good idea to grab extra blackstone or whatever your main block is, because you're going to need extra if you decide to fill in the back. Okay, now let's start building this bear. For anyone who's never seen one of my tutorials, we're building this one layer at a time from the ground up. So everything we're building is going to be a top-down view. So if it gets too confusing, just be patient and actually try it out. It's actually a lot easier than you might think. To get started, go ahead and mark off a 20 by 33 area. I find it easier to pre-plan where this is going to go, so go ahead and figure that out. Once you have that figured out, we can add layer 1. This is the only layer where I did mark a couple of dimensions just to help you get started, because once you get it going, it's pretty easy to count them and figure it out. But there's going to be 7 blocks between the edge and the first block, and then the longest part will be 9 blocks long, and the rest of it should be pretty easy. Time to add layer 2 to this lion. Now I will tell you, these layers are very simple. They're not complicated, but this is a big build, and when I built it in survival, it took me about an hour and a half, not including gathering the materials. So it is going to take you a while. Feel free to pause the video as much as you need to as you work on it. Now you probably already noticed, but we're just building the sides of the head, and then it's going to round it off to complete it, but the back is going to be completely left open. And that's for you to decide how you want to connect this with the rest of your build. You could add a building on the back like I did, or another idea I thought would be cool is if you built this leopard on the face of a cliff. I didn't actually try this, but I could see it looking really awesome if you did do something like that. I forgot to mention it earlier, but there are 24 layers total on this, so make sure you have plenty of headroom for this cheetah. At this moment, the rain decided to just completely destroy my video, and I was too lazy to redo it. The nice thing about these tutorials is there's not much I have to actually explain, because it's all explained for you on the screen. And if you can't follow along, that's not my fault because it makes sense to me. So I'm going to leave you to building. Remember, there's 24 layers total. Feel free to skip ahead in the video if you need to get where you need to be. Okay, hold up. I know I haven't talked for a while, but this is layer 17 and I have to say something. We're starting the eyes in the panda, and you can make these any colors you want if you wanted to use a solid block. If you didn't want to do that, you want to make them more awesome, I will show you some other ways you could do these eyes. So you could fill them with placeholders for now, and if you want to switch them out for something more epic later, you could do that. Alright, that's all I wanted to say. You can get back to building. Just a few more layers to go. You're almost done. Just a couple more layers to go to finish off the head, and don't forget to have some extra black stone on hand in case you did want to cover the back. Now that your panther is done, you may have noticed that it all looks very the same because we use blackstone for everything. And I know I told you to use blackstone, but really quickly I just want to show you some ideas of if you wanted to make some more sections pop out more, you can do that. I know on the one that I built, I did add some polished blackstone here and there just to kind of texture it a little better so you could get more definition with the shape. You don't have to do it everywhere, but I'm going to at least do it on this nose part so that you can see what a difference it would make. So here we have our nose, and if you really can't see what the nose is doing, I know where it is because I built this. So I'm going to show you which blocks you could replace for the nose. We have that stair block right down there, and then these three right across the top, these two stairs on either side, and then of course that block in the center, these slabs on top of those, so this whole front section. And then in the back you need to get this block here on the inside, and probably these two slabs right here. Let me see how that looks. That looks much better. At least the nose is more defined. If we wanted to add more polished blackstone or something else in other places just to define shapes better, but at least do the nose, I would say. And I think it's easier for me to just show it to you here as opposed to doing it earlier in the build. Now the eyes, as I said before, you could replace those to be anything you want. So here's a few ideas. You got your standard lapis. Meh, it's okay. Ooh, blue fire. That's what I did. I think it looks pretty cool. Or just regular orange fire. Also looks really awesome. Or you could do a more realistic approach where you can see the whites of the eyes and have black glass in the front. Or you can compromise and have a combination of the two ideas. Hopefully that gives you enough inspiration. I will say, if you did want to make eyes that had more depth to them, it's really not that difficult, but here's a closer look so you can see how I've done it. And we're going to pan around to the back so you can see how it looks from the back. In fact, this whole head just looks kind of creepy from the back, I'm not going to lie. But if you do build this in your world, I just also want to say it would be a good idea to spawn-proof all of these blocks in here. Whether you decide to close it off or leave it open, I don't know, whatever you decide to do with it. But it might be a good idea to take the time to either spawn-proof it or close it off. I mean, it's kind of obvious, but yes, that's what I would do. And that's all I have for this Jaguar tutorial. I hope you found it helpful, and I would love to see what you guys use it for. You've seen my other video, I will link to it again in case you haven't, but that's all I have for this cat head thing. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you later. This is just to prove to you that it's okay to redo things. So this was my first attempt ever at making this and designing it. And when you're on the ground, you can't even see the eyes. That was the biggest reason why I wanted to redo it. So while it doesn't look terrible, I do think this was a huge improvement. So guys, don't get discouraged if you can't get it right the first time. Happens to me all the time. We learn from our mistakes and we can improve upon them.